How to send an invoice with QuickBooks. Hey everyone and welcome. I hope you're all doing great. In this video, I will show you how simple it is to send out invoices and create them in QuickBooks. Now, obviously, QuickBooks is going to be great for smaller businesses and also medium to large, I guess, businesses that you can use QuickBooks in to track your income and to send out invoices. And there's plenty that you can do with QuickBooks. With that being said, let's just go ahead and get to it and show you exactly what you need to do. Starting with, you need to first identify who we want to send the invoice to. So you would want to keep in mind that you need to add some customers. So you can just go ahead and open up your QuickBooks account, and then from the main dashboard, you may want to start by going to the customers. Even though you can actually go ahead and add it later on from within the invoice itself, but you can just straight away just go to customers one more time here. And then from here, if you did not import your customers or add them, you can just simply do so. If you want to import, you can do so by clicking on import, and you can just upload a CSV file with their information, and it's going to upload them in bulk, or you can just simply add customer. Now, as this is just a tutorial, I'm just going to start adding some dummy information for our customer and really just go through what is important to note. So here you can go for a title, first name, middle name, last name. But most importantly here, you want to have a customer display name so you know exactly who you're dealing with, basically. So let's just go in and do just our example. And then we can just go ahead and continue on, and you can see you can add their company name, phone number, which is it could be important if you really want to deal with them with their phone numbers. And you have the email option here. Now, the email option, I believe, is necessary for this. It is going to be essential, and you need to actually enter their email address. So all I'm going to do is actually just go ahead and add this email address that I'm going to use as a dummy one. And then we can, again, here we have more information that you can feel free to add. And if you want to add their billing address, you can feel free to do so. Now, it really depends on what type of services or that you're doing for them or products that you want to sell them, whether it's important to add a billing address or not. So just go ahead and add the important information about them that you think is going to be viable later on. But for the time being, customer display name and email is going to be sufficient, and I'm just going to click on save. And now we have our first customer. Now, let's say we want to send them an invoice, or really anybody else. You don't really have to come to customers first in order to do so. It's just going to make it easier later on. So next is going to be creating the actual invoice, and doing so is very simple with QuickBooks. You basically just want to go to the main dashboard, go to sales, and then from the sales, you should be able to find invoices, and you can even bookmark it to make it easier to access if you want. But you can just click on invoices, and in here you're going to find a list of all the different invoices that you have currently created. If you didn't create any, you're going to find a similar page here. So you can just click on create invoice simply, and this is going to allow you to create your invoice. Now in here you're going to have a few sections that are things that you must fill out for the invoice. First section here is going to be all about the customer, their address, and when they're going to be paying you, and the invoice date, and so on. So this is going to be the first portion of the invoice. So here, customer email, and so on, which is very important, again, because you want to send it to them. And then next up, we are going to have the other section, which is going to be more about the actual invoice itself. So the products or the services that you're offering them. Okay, so the first thing, let's just go ahead and go through them one by one. First, you're going to select the customer that you want to create this invoice for. So you can just click on there, and you're going to find all the different customers that you already have existing. So here you're going to see Mr. Example that we just created or added. And then we can also see the list of the other customers that we have if you have many more. And you can also feel free to just click on add new if you didn't do so already, and it's going to open up exactly the same thing. Again, having the customer display name and email is essential. The rest of the things here could be essential for you, but it really depends on you and what you're trying to achieve. So I'm just going to select Mr. Example here, and we're just going to use them. And once you actually do that, it's going to fill out some information by itself. So if you did actually add the email to the customer, then this is going to be added automatically. If not, you're going to be required to add their email anyway. So make sure you add their email here. Now, once this is done, you're going to also go to the billing address if it is important. I don't really think this is mandatory. You can just skip it, but you can just go in and add their billing address. And here we can also set up the terms. So you can set up whether it's going to be on due on receipts or 15 days, 30 or 60. And you can obviously set up the invoice date and due dates. Now, tags are going to be just a method to track, you could say, or not track, but you could say more like manage the invoices. So if you want to use tags for any number of reasons, you can feel free to do so by clicking on manage tags, and in here you can start creating tags and then applying them onto the invoices. Next up, we're going to go to the actual services and products that we want to sell them, and obviously the balance and everything. So you're just going to click on line number 1, and in here you can obviously feel free to create new lines or remove lines that you don't really need. And on each line you would want to specify the service or product that you want to have. So in here, I don't really, this is the date, this is not the actual service or product, this is the date for it. And then you're going to set up the actual service, whether it's going to be services hours, which is the one that I have by default from QuickBooks, but you can just click on add new. And with this, you can actually go ahead and start creating your own services that you want to provide them. So you can just go in and give it a name. I'm just going to do test service. I feel like I've done this before. And then we have item type, whether it's going to be service, inventory item, non-inventory item, or a bundle. Now, the difference between inventory item and non-inventory item is pretty much the fact that you can track inventory with this, so that it's going to automatically have a specific amount of number of things, and then once you create invoices for them or anything, it's just going to actually lessen automatically for you. So it's going to track the inventory. Services is obviously going to be an hourly rate type of thing, and it's going to be more like a human service rather than a product. So I'm just going to go for service here, and then you can set up different categories for them. This is going to be neat for those who want to track which category is doing more sales than other categories. Again, you can just click on create new, and this is going to allow you to create categories for them if you want to. Now, obviously, most of these things are optional. The only thing that is necessary is the actual service or product. Now, you could possibly fill out more information here, like the sales and the purchasing, whether you purchase it from a supplier or not. But I'm just going to save and close, because at this point you get the idea when it comes to the services. Again, for the services date, this is when you actually want to do that. So it's, let's just go for 22nd here. And for if you want to add a description, feel free to do so. And then you can obviously adjust the quantity and the rate per hour. So let's just go ahead and do 20, for example. And this is going to just calculate it here for you, and you're going to have the sum here at the bottom. Obviously, you can do so one more time if you want, or however many they have ordered, you could say. And once you're done, you can just go ahead and clear the empty items. Here you can add a message on invoice and also message on statements. And if you want to attach anything, you can feel free to do so. I'm not really going to describe what you would want to attach here, because each person is going to have different reasons for doing that. Once this is done, you can just feel free to save first at the bottom right before you actually save and send. Once you save, you can feel free to do one more thing, or not really one more thing, but you can, at the bottom here, you can see more options. First, you can make it reoccurring. So if you want to do this often with your client or customer, you can just make it reoccurring, and you would want to set up when you want that to happen, whether it's going to be monthly, or you get the idea. And then we can also feel free to just click on customize and click on use style here, for example. And this is going to allow us to fully customize our invoice, meaning we can add our logo, we can change the colors for them, and we can do quite a lot when it comes to the customization page. But something is off here and it's not really, I'm not really sure. I'm just going to refresh the page here and see what happens. Usually it doesn't really look like that. Okay, there you go. So you can actually go ahead and add your unique logo. You can splash on some color, so you can really make it colorful if you want to. And adjust, this is going to be for the design. You can see the content and emails and so on. So feel free to just customize it to your liking. I'm not going to dig much into how to design it. But once it's done, you can just go back to sales, invoices, and then if you click on your invoice here, which is the one that we want, you can just click on more actions and click on send. And this is going to pretty much just send it to the customer. It's very simple. It's going to show you here. You have who you want to send it to, and you're going to find the email body, which you can adjust and just click on send. And it's done. You have sent your invoice. It's that simple. So that's pretty much all for this video. Hopefully you found it to be informative and helpful, and thanks for watching.